Part 4. The Giant Shadow. The car roared through the outskirts of Enugu like a hunted animal. Emeka sat in the back seat, gripping the USB drive as though it contained his very soul. Amaka Obi, focused and tense, drove with one eye on the road and another scanning the rearview mirror, aware of the danger lurking behind them. They had maybe 20 minutes before the pursuers would catch up again. People with connections that could make one disappear in broad daylight. Emeka had transformed in just a few weeks from an orphan boy into the last hope of unraveling a web of greed, betrayal, and murder. He was determined to press on, no matter the cost. They arrived at a safe house on the edge of a forest, a modest bungalow belonging to Fatai, a retired IT specialist and whistleblower who had once exposed a $1 billion scam in the oil sector. Living in seclusion, Fatai had evaded the watchful eyes of those who sought to silence him. Inside, Emeka handed Fatai the USB drive. With a raised eyebrow, Fatai questioned whether the small device could indeed contain enough evidence to bring down a senator, a businessman, and half the Port Authority. Emeka assured him it contained the truth, and it needed to be seen. As Fatai plugged in the drive, his eyes widened at the contents. Audio files, surveillance clips, secret emails, and voice recordings unfolded in nightmarish reality. Felix, Emeka's uncle, had been bribed to push the Lagos port contract through. When Emeka's father resisted, the others conspired to orchestrate the crash. One recording even captured Felix's frantic voice, screaming threats about taking out Emeka's father. Time was of the essence. Amaka and Fatai began compiling a secure data package. Evidence set to be broadcast via trusted journalists, uploaded to encrypted platforms, and delivered to international authorities. But Emeka had a different idea. He wanted to confront Felix directly. Amaka was shocked at the suggestion, deeming it insane. Yet Emeka's resolve was cold and certain. He needed Felix to see who had tried to erase and what was coming for him. Using a burner account on social media, they tracked Felix to a Saba, where he was hiding behind a facade of loyal thugs, convinced that time would render the investigation ineffective. Amaka arranged a meeting. No police, no press, just Emeka and the uncle who tried to obliterate him. The abandoned factory loomed ahead, silent except for the wind whistling through broken windows. Felix stood at the center, a sneer forming on his lips as he recognized Emeka. He mocked the boy for daring to confront him, questioning whether he sought a confession or an apology. With unwavering determination, Emeka held up the USB drive, declaring its contents. All the evidence, the betrayal, the crash, and the contracts. It was over. Felix's laughter echoed in the empty space, dismissing Emeka as just a child facing men who never lost. But Emeka countered, unafraid, asserting that his father had not raised a coward and that real justice was on its way. Suddenly, police lights flashed through the shattered glass, illuminating the grim scene. Felix's face twisted in fury as he realized the truth. Emeka hadn't brought the police. Felix had, through his own heinous actions. Despite his desperate lunge, armed officers stormed in, subduing him with fierce efficiency as he screamed and kicked, powerless against the law. Amaka joined Emeka, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder, affirming that it was finally over. Yet Emeka understood that this was just the beginning. The media exploded with coverage, headlines spreading across Nigeria and beyond. Emeka was no longer just a boy. He had become a symbol of courage and truth, a voice against corruption. The senator implicated in the tapes resigned under pressure and was swiftly arrested, while the Obiora estate was returned to Emeka, who was given a trust fund for his education and safety. He began to breathe again, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. But that relief was short-lived. A letter arrived at his new home, delivered by an unknown courier. It bore no stamp or return address, only a single line typed on plain paper. You expose the small ones, but the real kings are still watching. Accompanying the note was a blurry photograph of Emeka walking to school, taken that very morning, to be continued in Part 5. The Shadow Network goes deeper than anyone thought. Will Emeka survive the next level of conspiracy, or will the kings and the shadows strike back harder than ever before?